Today I'm going to one of the most unique dive sites in the entire world. There's no telling what I'm gonna come across out there, so let's head on out and see what happens. On this particular trip to the Florida Keys, you guys have seen me dive some of the coolest wrecks on the planet. And even underneath this lighthouse was some of the coolest animals in the ocean. However, today's adventure takes me to one of the most iconic and unique dive sites anywhere in the world. Now today I get to cross a major dive site off of my bucket list because we're going to dive Christ of the Abyss here in the Keys. You guys are gonna see just how special it is when I get out there. It's a really beautiful dive site and it's pretty world renowned for one of the best dive sites here in the Florida Keys. But anyways, the weather is perfect today. The conditions are looking great, only 1 foot seas, which is what I hope for when I come down here. But if you guys are ready, let's go check in at the dive shop and head on out to our dive sites today. The first stop of the day was at the main event, the Christ of the Abyss statue. Now, it's a pretty long boat ride from the dive shop, as it sits around 45 minutes away. However, we eventually made it. The conditions were excellent today, and the water was a record-breaking 88.9 degrees, which is the warmest I have ever been in. I hopped in and started to make my way over to the statue. One thing I noticed right off the bat though was how cool the coral structures are. This is one of the best reefs I've ever been to in the Keys, and the coral looked really healthy as well. This dive was only in about 25 feet of water, but in some spots the coral went all the way up to the surface. It was so beautiful. But after only 10 minutes in the water, I had finally reached it, the famous Christ of the Abyss statue. This is a dive site I've wanted to visit for years, and it did not disappoint in person. This statue was placed here on August 25th, 1965. Although the statue itself only weighs 400 pounds, the concrete base it sits on weighs 20,000 pounds. It would take one of the strongest hurricanes of all time to knock this statue over. After spending a few minutes around the statue, I had some time to check out more of the surrounding reef. The coral structures are unreal, and the amount of fish everywhere was incredible. Even if the statue wasn't here, this spot would still be a really good dive site. But eventually my air ran low, so I got back up to the boat and hopped in when we got to our next dive site, a spot called Conch Reef. I have never been to this spot before either, so I was super excited to check it out. As soon as I hit the bottom though, I filmed this massive moray eel swimming around. It's not every day you get to see an eel of this size, especially swimming around, so this was a really nice surprise. Moray eels are nocturnal, using the secrecy of night to help them attack unsuspecting fish. This guy was most likely swimming around in search for a new place to hide in the reef. I started making my way around the reef, and as I did, I was astonished by the amount of fish. This reef was one of the most lively I have ever been to. Every direction you look, there's an entirely different school of fish swimming around. I had such a hard time deciding what to film, but that was put at ease when this massive sea turtle popped by. I wasn't able to get too close, but it was still an awesome encounter. Right after this, I came across this southern stingray chilling on this rock. I got a little too close for comfort though as he swam off into the blue. Now, Conch Reef isn't one of the more popular dive sites due to how shallow it is. My maximum depth on this dive was only 16 feet. It's kind of a shame because this is one of the best reef dives I've ever had, but it's most likely the absence of divers that brings out so much marine life. It's so evident that this reef is beautiful. I got lost filming the hundreds of different fish that surrounded me, and it shows why this dive site is kind of a hidden gem. I was able to stay underwater for over an hour at this dive site, but eventually it was time to get back to the surface. I could not believe the dives I had today. Seeing one of the most famous underwater structures in the world, followed by one of the most beautiful reef dives ever, made for a great day out on the water. The Florida Keys are a diver's paradise, and I think this video showed exactly that.